Hey friends, welcome to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm Amanda Dare, a serial entrepreneur who has already made all of the money mistakes, so you don't have to. Now, I'm working on my money mindset, expanding my companies, and having open conversations with women around a subject that shouldn't be so taboo: money. My company, Woman Owned Wallet, and I are determined to help you foster a positive relationship with your wallet and help you create a life that makes you say, wow. Hey everybody, Amanda here. Welcome back to the Woman Owned Wallet podcast. I'm so excited because I have Lindsey on the podcast today. She is not only one of my favorite people in the entire world with her fabulous pink hair that I'm super jealous of. Not jealous, inspired by, I should say. It's a very positive emotion. I want to dye my hair pink all the time, and I'm pretty sure she's the person that's going to convince me to do it. But I have been going to Lindsey for so long to get my hair done, and we talk about business, we talk about life. You know, your hairdresser is so often your therapist as well. And for me, I'm just lucky enough that she turned into a really great friend of mine. So thank you so much, Lindsey, for coming on the podcast.
Hey, girl. Thanks for having me.
You guys, something else fun about Lindsey is that her Instagram handle is The Hungry Hairdresser. And I'm completely obsessed with her entire brand because I'm always hungry. I'm always bringing snacks in for my hair appointments. But I feel like I'm always interested in your opinions on new fast food items. Didn't you just talk about one the other day?
Yeah, Taco Bell, the crispy chicken sandwich taco. Hope I get sponsored by this. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really surprising. It's really good.
Listen, we need to be sponsored by more people, and having Taco Bell sponsor you that would just be chef's kiss. That would make so much sense to me for you.
Oh, listen to this. I posted a photo on my Instagram of me in the parking lot at Taco Bell. They saw it and messaged me, and they were like, can we share this on our page? We may edit it a little bit. So it's happening. It's happening.
Ooh, I feel it. I feel it starting.
I'm manifesting it right now. Sponsored by Taco Bell. First, hairdresser to be sponsored by Taco Bell. Or Taco Bell's official hairdresser.
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. I never thought I'd lose my hairdresser to Taco Bell, but you know what? It's okay with me.
That's awesome. Oh, no. No, girl. No, girl. I still got you.
Have you heard of the Palm Springs Taco Bell Hotel, where it's a full immersive experience that you look surprised?
Wait, is it the one in Vegas?
Probably. I haven't heard of the one in Vegas, but you go and it's a Taco Bell hotel. The rooms are all the different sauce flavors. Oh my gosh.
No, I have not heard about this. I've heard about Vegas. In Vegas, you can go get married at the Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah.
$500. That's what I'm doing.
So get married there and then go honeymoon at the Palm Springs Hotel for Taco Bell.
Listen. Oh, boom. That's it.
That's the way to do it. You and two of my friends that are obsessed with Taco Bell, my cousin and my bestie Amanda, you guys are all going to do that. I'm going to be planning Taco Bell weddings, I feel eventually.
Yeah. I see Amanda, she's my client too, and I feel half of our appointments we talk about Taco Bell. So
she'll be the official seamstress of and designer for all of their costumes and clothing, and you'll be the hairdresser. Yes, this needs to happen.
Beautiful.
Well, that would be a great way to add more money to your wallet. So I guess that brings back to just chatting about money. I also want to just point out that you and I are both wearing really fun t-shirts. It's our off days. But Lindsey, tell me about your t-shirt a little bit. I love it. I'm buying one.
So my t-shirt says Powerful Woman. Like you said, today's our off day. So I just went to the gym and worked out with my trainer. And I thought, I'll wear this Powerful Woman t-shirt. It'll make me lift more. It worked okay. I got it from Lala. I think it's what it's called online. It's an online store. But yeah, I love to wear inspirational women t-shirts on my days off or any day of the week.
I think that's the one that is in your pictures of you with Taco Bell too.
It is.
We need to get you some more t-shirts that are all like the really fun sayings. Don't you have one that has a Dolly Parton saying on it too? I love that one.
Yeah. Yeah. It says, what would Dolly do? I have one that says, like, your feelings are valid. And I
Yeah.
wore that to the salon like the day after we opened up for COVID. Because I felt like people's opinions about COVID, that they were valid. People were scared and nervous. So that those were valid. I have one that says, you are loved. And then you are enough. I like to wear inspirational t-shirts at the salon for clients so they can read them and be like, oh. Oh, and I just bought one from you. Self-care isn't selfish.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I feel like a lot of our t-shirts and a lot of our stuff in the Wow Shop has like curse words on it or something like that. And like, for me, yeah, it's fine. Fuck all day. Like, let's go. Like, it's cool. But I understand, like, you're not always in those vibes, you know? So, like, and sometimes you do need to remind yourself, like, self-care isn't selfish. Like, if we're not taking care of ourselves, then, like, how the fuck are we gonna rule the rest of the world? Like, I don't really know. So, I take a lot of good care of myself to make sure that I can continue to show up as my best.
Oh, yeah.
Mine says building my empire. And I mean, that's so true all the time, all of the time.
Yeah.
I have one that says, I'm an entrepreneur. And then it has a comma and it says, bitch. So, like, sometimes it's like, some people will say, like, oh, how's your little business going? Like, da 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 da. And I'm just like, I'm an entrepreneur, bitch. Like, let's go. Like, I love that one. That one and this one are probably the ones I got when I started the new Black, I think, like, before everything was really going. And I can't believe I still have them. Like, they're still in pretty good shape. This one used to be a little brighter. It was a little more gold, but that's okay. We'll get over it. So, I mean, within your salon, will you tell us a little bit about that? Like, so tell me a little bit about your hungry hairdresser journey. Like, also, when did you start to call yourself hungry hairdresser?
So that happened. I met you at my old salon where I was just like a commission-based stylist there. But one day, my Instagram name was like Hair by Lindsey C. And I took this business like marketing course, and the educator in the class was like, you know how many basic white girls' names are Lindsay? And I was like, oh, a lot of us. Yeah. And so he was like, you need to come up with something unique that like nobody's going to have. And I jokingly said one day at the old salon, like, what if I just was the hungry hairdresser and people tip me in food? I could just like manifest people giving me food because that's what people's tips go towards anyway. Duh.
I know, actually, I've never tipped you in food, and I should always do that. I didn't think about that. I forgot. I mean, I feel like I leave good tips, and I know that they go towards Taco Bell, but I should just tip you Taco Bell.
You know what? It's all good. But yeah, we like joked around with that, and then it just kind of stuck. Like all of my coworkers at the old salon were saying, oh, a hungry hairdresser. There's a hungry hairdresser. And then it stuck. And then I came up with a catchphrase. I said, I'm hungry for success, knowledge, and a good grilled cheese. And yeah, it just kind of stuck that way.
I didn't know that that was your tagline, and that's amazing.
On my Instagram profile, like,
oh, I missed that. Oh my God, that's so funny. I'm getting this mug that you'll appreciate for the store soon that says like, I'll be a slut for grilled cheese or something like that.
Shut up. Oh my gosh. I just bought yesterday a mug, like a thing to hang in my kitchen to hang my mugs on off Facebook Marketplace. And Jacob's like, Lindsay, you can't hang up your mugs that say like shit and fuck on them. Like, what if your grandparents come over? And I'm like, my pappy is going to think it's hilarious. I have a mug that says shit show on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, it's all good. So I need to get that one. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I'll just bring one as your tip for your next hairstyling.
There you go. The hungry hairdresser works again. Like,
yeah. Okay, so yes, you're correct. We both met each other when I went into your old salon you were working at, and I was trying to grow out that stupid undercut that I got. It seemed like a great idea, but it was rough for sure. And I have very thick hair, so I was like trying to make it work, trying to get a little more breeze through the hair and on my neck for summer, but it was just not cute at all. So thankfully, Lindsay walked me through different hairstyles to help me grow all that shit out. And now I have normal hair again. But I want to know a little bit about like when you left the salon and you started to decide to like open your own salon, like what kind of feelings were you having? How did you get started? I know you have a partner for your salon, so if you want to talk about him a little bit, just like tell us about that.
Yeah. So we left our old salon in 2017. We were commission based there. And so that means like when we left, we were getting like 45% and they were getting the rest, some of that. And so it just got to the point where we were like, and Lucas is my business partner. I should mention that. He's my business partner in my studio. He used to work right beside me at our old salon. And we always like joked around like, oh, one day we'll open a salon together and we'll call it Focus Salon 2, because our last salon was Focus Salon. And we just kind of joked around with it. And then one day another stylist there was leaving and she told me separately from Lucas, she's like, if you left, you'd be fine, right? You can make way more money if you left. And I was like, oh yeah, I would. And then she had told Lucas separately from me the same thing. And so I started getting the idea in my head, like, yeah, I'm going to go out on my own. We're going to, like, I know I was taking Lucas with me. And I found the studio that I'm in now inside of Sola. And it's a studio salon space. So there's 27 studios in the building. And we just rent our own little room. I always say it's kind of like, think of like an art gallery type thing or like an art studio, like different little buildings and each little person has their own studio.
Yeah, when I got started, I started in Melwood Art Center, which is in Louisville. And there's basically, like you're saying, like you pay just for your studio space, but you kind of all share the electricity. And like sometimes you get new clients because they're walking through to somebody else or they're trying to find somebody else there or just a walk-in person. So a lot of times people worry about like having all this competition right next to them. And I've always felt that, I mean, you've probably heard this, but collaboration or community over competition. And I think it's so interesting because every time I've been like a storefront, if I had a singular storefront that was like a solo building, if I'm not around anything else, I never did as well as when I was like surrounded by other stores as well. And it's like when people are going to look for that experience, like it's important for them to understand where to go. So if you have this like bigger name over the whole thing and then you're a part of this like community, it's less intimidating for some reason. Like they might not walk into like a fancy salon, but they're like walk into a Sola, check it out, see what's up. And then like, I mean, you've got one of the best spots in your Sola. You've got like the front spot with the windows.
Yeah. When I called the like Sola manager, was like, I'm looking for a studio. Do you have anything open at this location? And he's like, actually, we have a spot with the window. It is going to go fast. So can you come look at it tomorrow? And I told Lucas, I was like, let's go look at the studio tomorrow. Let's go. And we did. And we fell in love. And the rest was history. We're in that studio and we've been there for almost 5 years now. But we do love that window. It is so good for our plants. Yeah.
It's so good. Oh, yeah. Your studio has such a vibe. I mean, all the plants, the light. They have like the string lights with the kind of Edison bulb kind of vibe look around the studio.
Our goal is for it to like an outside garden. Like
I like it. It does feel like that. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I've seen these plants like grow up over the past 5 years. Like it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So like when you guys were starting to go into this idea of like moving into your own space, like did you have any money saved up? Like what was that kind of financially like for you?
So luckily we moved in February. Actually, our opening day was Valentine's Day. So we actually just took our taxes that we had got back. So I put in 1,000 and Lucas put in 1,000. I would say we used that money to buy like inventory, but mostly we bought decorations with it. If we were to do anything over, we would not buy as much decorations at first and use it more for inventory. Because when we first started out, like we had one of those cube shelves as like product shelf, and the salon was very bare, but we had chairs and we had plants, and we were like, that's all we need. We need chairs and plants. So yeah, we did put in $2,000 each, and it worked out really good. Sola, actually, the building that we're in and the company we're with offered deals for us to build our product and our inventory. So that was really nice. So going into it, we were nervous. Mostly we were nervous about our clients following us, but pretty much everybody followed us. And once we got over that, it was easy sailing pretty much for the most part. Yeah.
I feel like that must be really hard for like big salons too. Like they've lost a lot of money by losing y'all. And it seems like if you're this big salon that takes this commission off of everyone, that you would really try to like take care of them. Not saying that they didn't take care of you guys and that they weren't great or anything like that. I mean, I liked going to that old salon as well. But like, I just wonder like how many people and how many salons are like dealing with that where they have a commission base and then all the clients like leave to go follow the hairdresser because we're very loyal. When you find a good hairstylist, hairdresser, like yes, you don't leave. Like you get excited, you stay for a long time. Like I feel like you must have had clients that you've had for, I don't know. Man, how long have you been hairdressing? Probably like 9 years?
Yeah, 9 years now.
Wow, that was a good guess.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, I've been doing it for 9 years. And it's funny you say that. So when we left, or when we told the salon we were leaving, they immediately started calling all of our clients and started saying, Lindsey is leaving. She is moving out to this salon. We would love to book you for your next appointment here with another stylist. And we're trying to get us to go to our clients to go to other stylists. And it's funny because we kind of had the mindset and we were kind of groomed to think like, oh, our clients are there just because of that salon, because they had a good reputation on Yelp. So it made me and Lucas nervous thinking like, oh, they're just there to go to Focus. Like they're just there to go to that salon. They're not going to follow us. And then it was the complete opposite. Our clients were there to see us. They didn't care like where they were going. But yeah, the salon definitely did try to get those clients into other people's chairs to get back that commission. And it was a little scary, but we made it. We made it.
Yeah, and I think it's important. So when you're talking about Sola as well, like for people that would be interested in getting started, that Sola, when you moved in there, because it's already a salon, like they already had the water hookups, the electricity, like you didn't have to do a big build out.
Yeah, so they already had the chairs, the water was already hooked up, sink, shampoo bowl, it was all set up for us. So when we moved in, we just had to bring product and clients, and that's all we needed. So that was really easy, but it still was scary. But I did the math, so I was like, okay, rent is $245 a week. I just have to do like 2 colors or like 5 haircuts and we're good. Here we go. It's all I got to get done and then I can pay the rent. That's how I like ease my nerves a little bit. I'm like, I just have to do 2 colors a week, just 2 colors a week. And if I have to bring my mama in here, I'm going to have to bring my mama in here. So that's kind of how I took it money-wise.
I mean, hey, my mom buys like something from every one of my collections, and it's so funny because I'll like see kind of a bigger order come through. And I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade, and she's so supportive, but like I make sure that there's something in there that she'll also love and that it'll fit her really well and all this stuff. Because every single time I'll see like we get a lot of orders, but then I'll see one of the orders that's a little bit larger than everybody else's, and I'm like, I bet that's Katie. I bet that's Katie Hines right there. Like, mm-hmm. And it always is. And I don't know. Listen, sometimes you have to equate it to, for me, like with dresses, I'm like, okay, I only have to sell like 10 dresses a month. Like 10 dresses, that's not too bad. When you're getting started, you're like, I can do that. And that will pay the rent so that I don't get kicked out. And then you start to add on like other expenses and you're like, oh yeah, okay, well now when I sell 20 dresses a month, like you can start to think through like what are the other things that you can afford. And of course, you need to pay yourself, which I mean, being in a service-based industry like you are, like, is that difficult for you, like to organize? Or I mean, I know you've been through a couple different accountants like I have, so I don't know.
So paycheck wise, I kind of, okay, I haven't read through the whole book, not gonna lie, but what is it? Money first? Or is that what it's called?
Profit first.
Profit the one first. That I don't even know. Yeah. Yeah. That one. So I started reading it, and then I realized, oh, that's what we do. We pay the way I do my paycheck. I've been doing this since the beginning because we take what we make for the week. We take out the rent. We take out like color chemical costs. So that goes back into the money account, our business account. We take the products that we sell. So we sell Paul Mitchell product. I take that money out and put that into the business bank account. So that pays for us to get new product, or if we want to go to a hair show or something like that, that goes in the business account. And then the rest is mine. Like that's how I get paid each week. So yeah, I've been doing that since we opened up. Oh, and we do take, I think it's like $100 a week. Yeah. We were doing 150 and then we just switched it to $100 a week for like future funds. So if we want to go to a hair show, if me and Lucas want to take a business class, or like we went to New York after our 1 year anniversary of opening the salon and our savings went towards that. So yeah.
I like that for future
after
investments and future fun together.
Yeah. New tools that come out that we want to buy, we can use that money for that. We just bought new chairs, so our future funds went to that. But
good
yeah,
chairs.
I think that's after listening to Profit First, like I said, I got like halfway through and I was like, I think I'm already doing this. So yeah.
It sounds like you are already doing it. And like, there's definitely, I mean, I have 1 million accounts and I also have like 2 separate businesses. So I have accounts for each business that are separated out. And I mean, just managing all the cash flow that comes through with businesses, like it's difficult. And, you know, you got to make sure that you really are keeping up with it like every single week.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's difficult. I mean, you have a business partner. So like making sure that you're both investing the same amount and you do really feel that kind of equal partnership, like that's really important as well.
Yeah.
I love you guys are the best anyway. Like I love Lucas as well. And I feel like he and I are always chatting about different sewing projects and interior design stuff too. Like, I don't know, definitely have the best time together. Can you tell everybody like the name of your salon and why you guys named it that?
Yeah. So the name of our salon is Arrow Salon. And we actually named it that because the day that we went and looked at that studio, we had a list on our phones of different salon names. So he's like Lucas, Lindsey. We were like, oh, L Salon. We both come from families that are all L names. Larry, Lisa, Lindsey, Lauren, and then Lucas, Leslie. Lucas, Leslie. I think his dad's name is Larry. Either his dad or his mom have the same name as my parents. But yeah, we were like L Salon. And then we said Phoenix Salon, just Prism Salon, just random names. Well, we had Arrow Salon on this list, and we get out to the car after looking at the studio, and we're like, yeah, we're getting it. We are getting it. Well, then Sola Salon Louisville posted on Instagram this quote about an arrow, and it's an arrow can only be shot by pulling it backwards. When you feel like life is dragging, just know you're about to be shot into something great. And we were like, oh, and it says just focus and keep aiming. And our last salon was called Focus. So we were like, oh, and then we get on our list and Arrow Salon is on there. And we're like, that's it. That's it. The universe is saying, name it Arrow Salon. That quote is exactly how we feel because we loved our salon Focus, but we just felt like we were dragging. We weren't moving forward. So yeah, that's how it came about. And it's been great ever since.
I love it. I love that whole idea. I've like heard so many times that complete idea of like when you're an entrepreneur, you have to think of yourself like a slingshot, which usually, I mean, that's the same thing as an arrow. But if you think of yourself like a slingshot, that you're taking these little moments, you're taking these investments, you're holding yourself back like really thoughtfully. You're taking these steps backwards. And you're taking these sacrifices or something like that. Like you're holding, you're investing, you're putting everything back into it. But then when you really release that moment, like there was always kind of this like break moment that slingshots you forward and you'll surpass a lot of things. Like my husband and I didn't buy a house and all of our friends had houses. We don't have any children yet. Almost all of our friends have kids now. Like I'm a few years older than Lindsey as well, but it's one of those things where we've actively taken those moments, those life moments that you would have in your life, like, and you decide that it's okay to hold back, to pull back, and then you know that the investments that you put in and the time you put in, the energy you put in will slingshot you forward in the future. So when you were telling me this about the arrow, like I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. And I feel like you have so many female clients that are like, have their own businesses and stuff as well. I bet they're really attracted to that too.
Yeah, I actually had a client that was an artist, and I was telling her like about the time that I auditioned to be a prom educator and I failed it, like, and I felt terrible. I was like, what the heck? She like asked how my audition went. And I was like, oh, it's not, it did not go good. I failed. And she's like, well, isn't that what your salon is all about here? Like, yeah, you failed this one, but you're probably going to like really do good on the next one. And it turns out I did. And I was like, ooh, even my clients know the quote better than me. Shoot. Like, so yeah, that made me think of that.
We're all just sitting over here inspired by you, you know? So I feel like that's what you do though. Like you help us like be more of ourselves. Like you help us feel comfortable in our own skin and with our hairstyle. So I feel like it makes a lot of sense. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
So meta.
Yeah, that's like how I became a hairdresser. I was signed up for WKU, Western Kentucky University, to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And I cried to my mom and was like, I don't want to watch people cry all day. I just want to make them feel good and feel better. And she's like, okay, you're not going to college. You're going to beauty school. And so a month later, I started beauty school.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I love that. Like,
yeah. I was
definitely my therapist sometimes.
Yeah. I was signed up for WKU, had a roommate and everything. It was 2 weeks before my senior year of high school let out. And I cried to my mom and was like, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to be a psychologist or psychiatrist. Like, I want to just help people. And she's like, you're going to do hair. You can help people feel good that way. And yeah.
I love it.
But, yeah.
That's so funny. I mean, I went through like 8 different majors in college, and I think you probably would have done the same thing, trying to figure out where I fit, what I wanted to do.
Yeah, and now I don't have to watch people cry all day, so it's great.
Yeah, and you don't have
people cry in the salon, but not often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's basically me. I'm the one crying. Let's be real.
No,
I'm just like, Lindsey, this is going on.
I've had other people cry. I've had other people cry, so it's all good.
But never about my hair, so that's good.
Yeah, I was about to say, knock on wood, I've never had anybody cry about their hair. I always joke and say they do that when they get home. But no. No, nobody's cried about their hair yet.
So, well, at least your mom had such good insight though. Like that's awesome. And she had good insight because you didn't have to go to college and get all the college debt. Like beauty school was the right place for you. So like that's awesome. Oh, yeah. I'm jealous of that.
Mamas know best. Number one advice, mamas know best. Listen to your mamas.
You know that TikTok sound that's like, Mama said it was okay. Mama said it was quite all right. Like that one. I was like trying to think of one for like to do for the woman-owned wallet Instagram and stuff or the TikTok. And I was like, ooh, I think that mine is like Elle Woods. Like it was okay for you to like wear all pink, but also like be really smart, like intelligent, beautiful, like human that like challenges people all the time. I'm like, oh shit, Mama said it was all right.
Yeah.
I think your mama is probably Dolly Parton though.
My mom is definitely Dolly Parton. Like, yeah. That she my guardian angel. She my.
Well, I would keep telling people that I'm going to be a millionaire like Dolly Parton instead of a billionaire like Jeff Bezos because she does so many amazing things with her money that I'm just in awe of her all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay, well, you've been saying this whole time, like, it was all good after that, like, nothing, basically, no problems ever at the salon. Yeah. I want to hear your money story around, like, what was your best money day you ever had? And maybe, like, what was a more vulnerable moment that you had around money or something that you've gone through? Like, tell us, like, the best and the worst. Like, it can all be smooth sailing the rest of the time. But what are those things that really stick out for you?
And after talking about our salon quote, I'm sitting here like, oh, shoot. I'm going through it now. Last year, 2020, that was my setback. That was the arrow getting shot back. And now I'm being shot into something great. So I'll start with the worst because that's kind of where it goes. And we've talked about this in the salon. So last year, 2020, the salon shut down for 2 months. I had zero income. I had zero savings. My savings was the paycheck from the week before of shutdown because, yeah, your girl is not good at money skills. My mama works at a bank. So I've always said, like, when she passes, I'm lost. She was taking care of all my money for me. So yeah, 2020, we shut down, no savings. I did get unemployment, but the unemployment in Kentucky sucked for, I don't know if you noticed this, for entrepreneurs, or at least for like hairstylists. I got paid $100 a week.
Yeah.
Like my rent is $905.
Oh
like,
my God. I still didn't even get mine. Like I'm still fighting for mine. And it's been over a year and a half.
Yeah, and there's a couple weeks where I didn't get mine. And we did get the extra $600, so that did help. Thank you for that. But that was what, $600 every 2 weeks or something. It still wasn't enough to cover my apartment and the bills at home. Also was in major credit card debt. Like, I don't think I ever added it all up because I was too scared. But I'm going to definitely say I think it was like $47,000. Like, but that's student loans in my car too. I know that because I think it was, so that was 2020, beginning of 2021. So I'm talking to my mama. I'm like bawling, crying, like I'm in all this debt. Like I was making payments. Luckily, I was able to make my payments on time, but I was so much in debt. Like I would make a payment on a credit card and it only like not even half of the payment would go to the credit card. I was like so much in interest. It was going to take me like 7 years to pay off these credit cards. Like it was intense. And I just felt overwhelmed. Like I had the feeling, and I've heard other people say this that are in debt, like you're drowning and like you can't, like if your podcast listeners could see me right now, I'm like doggy paddling. It's like I'm drowning and I can't get my head above water in all this debt. I was just so overwhelmed.
Drowning really cutely right now with her little doggy paddle, keeping her little nose above the water. Just
that's exactly how it felt. In the water, like if debt was water, it was getting in my nose. It was drowning me. So just a little visual. Your nose, your throat's burning. This is water with chlorine in it. It burns.
I was gonna say it's not normal water. It's like
it's not normal water. It's
contaminated.
It's contaminated, poison water. All the debt.
Right. And I've definitely been there before as well. So we have definitely, like you said, openly talked about this before.
Yeah. And it keeps you up at night. Mm-hmm. Like it made me physically sick some days thinking about it. So my mom, like I said, works at a bank. She's a manager of a bank. And she was like, you need to file for Chapter 13. And she kept saying it's loan consolidation. She's like, you need to do loan consolidation, Chapter 13. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So she told me to contact these lawyers and to settle for Chapter 13 loan consolidation. I called these lawyers and I was like, hi, I'd like to talk about loan consolidation. I think it's called Chapter 13. And they were like, oh, that's bankruptcy. And I was like, no, that's not what my mom said. My mom said it's loan consolidation. And they were like, well, it's not like full-fledged bankruptcy, but it's bankruptcy. It's Chapter 13. And I think the other one's maybe like Chapter 7. And that's like, apparently there's 2 different types. Chapter 13 is where they pay off all of your debt, but you pay them a set amount each month to like your trustee. Mm-hmm. And I do that for 5 years. And so I sat down with this lawyer. And then the other one is like they pay everything off and you don't pay anything.
Yeah, Chapter 11.
Chapter 11. That one I think hurts.
Oh, it hurt. It hurts
Like,
if you do
right?
that.
Like, I think they like take away your car and stuff.
Yeah,
Or
they
like,
take your assets
yeah, they
because
take your assets.
you're not paying them back, so they take your assets to pay back the creditors that you owe money to.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I
The
didn't do that
chapter
one. I did
13. Yeah, you did.
chapter 13. I did chapter 13. So that way, like, I'm paying a set amount each month, and I'm paying $1,000. I sat down with this lawyer. He said 700, and I was like, no, I think I can do more. I can do 1,000. Looking back, I wish I would have said 700 because I found out that even if you don't pay it all off in 5 years, it just goes away. I was like, shoot, I could have said 700 and what? Like, but that's okay. I'm doing 1,000. I'm being a good citizen, paying it off. And then I had to take like a class online. I have to take 2 different classes online. But yeah, did that and settled for chapter 13 bankruptcy. I'm calling it bankruptcy now because that's what it is, Mom. Like, she still calls it loan consolidation. I'm like, that's not what it is. That's not bankruptcy. They say bankruptcy. So,
Come
yeah,
on,
I did it.
Mom. Call it what it
Yeah,
is.
call it what it is. Like, don't sugarcoat this, Mom.
Yeah, she's
But
trying to protect you in some way, and like, it's
yeah,
okay. It's
it's
okay.
okay. It is okay because after I left that lawyer's office, I felt so relieved. Like, I felt a weight off my shoulder. Like, it stepped out of that water. Like, it was like freaking Elsa changing into her Frozen dress. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm debt free. Like, I'm not really debt free. I have to pay $1,000 a month, but that's nothing to compare to what I was paying. Like, I was paying, like, the first of the month, I was paying $900 just for 3 credit cards, and it wasn't even covering the interest. Like, that was insane. So, beginning of 2021, settled for that, chapter 13 bankruptcy. And at first I was ashamed, and I've talked to you about this. I haven't told Lucas because that was the main thing when I talked to the lawyer. I was like, I don't want my business partner to know. And he's like, this has nothing to do with the salon. This is all personal. We don't have to pull the salon into it. And I was like, okay, good. So it had nothing to do with the salon. Then come to find out they did involve one of our credit. We only had one credit card for the salon and it was paid off. So come to find out they canceled it. Like, they closed it out. So Lucas almost found out that way, but the credit card was paid off because Lucas covered the credit card and took care of that. I took care of it at first and it got out of control. So learned my lesson. I cannot have credit cards. I can't. It is just too bad for me.
I know,
But
it just
yeah.
feels like you have all this extra when you have all the credit
Oh
cards.
yeah.
And when you
Oh
have,
my gosh.
when you're in our position, a lot of times, like what I go through is like a feast or famine kind of moment. Like, I'm kind of one
Yeah.
extreme or the other. I'm like either completely saving everything or I'm like massively spending. Like it's almost like bipolar, but with
Yeah.
my finances. And so
Yeah.
I had to like really chill out. And what I'm learning through like money mindset training is like, if I want to have real wealth, like I need to be able to sit with my money and like have it sit in bank accounts and understand that like that amount of money is obviously good to have there. Like I have that base now, but when I've done like debt reconsolidation, like it was mostly for the business. And luckily enough, through everything negative that has happened with COVID, some of the positive things are that the SBA was helping businesses, and I wasn't able to get my unemployment because of a million reasons. And I'm still trying to get through to somebody on the phone about that. But I was able to get the loans that they had through the EIDL. And I recently got like another larger one. So I feel like I have a really good nest egg right now. And I'm going to keep it because I do not believe that there will be another time when this money is as available as it is right now. So I took the max amount, but I mean, it's more than my house is worth. And it's terrifying to sit there with that. But also, like, it's this money can do so much good for me. Even just like you said, like, I can sleep at night now knowing that all the bills
Yeah.
will be paid. Like, it is okay. Everything's fine. We're not month to month. We're not week to week. We're not day to day. Like, everything will be fine. And when I was getting started, I had to take money from people that are more like loan sharks. Like, nobody wanted to believe in the concepts that I had, and I didn't have like an MBA or like a big background in owning businesses. And I'm like, you guys would lend me all this money for my student loans, but you won't lend me this money that like will also be able to create more money, like getting an education. So super frustrating. But through a few other things, I was able to reconsolidate it. Like I had a SBA loan that was in 2019. That took me 6 months to get. Like it took so long to come through with that loan, and I had to provide so much information. And I had a lot of like shame about it, but I also like after it was over and I'm making those payments and I'm feeling great about it, like the relief of all of that, because the debt, like the amount that goes towards my principal now versus towards just my interest, like you're saying, like all of those cards I had were maxed out and they were all like, I could only make small payments and it was just the minimum payments and it was going to take me so long to take them off or to pay them off. And it just goes towards the interest. So now I'm even making like double payments to some of my previous loan stuff. And I feel like more of that goes to your principal than to your interest. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can at least make double payments towards these, but if I can't make a double payment, like that's okay too. But I was paying like, when I was in the mall, I think I was paying like $8,000 a month in like towards debt, different debt. And now it's $1,000 a month. And I'm just like, well, fuck, that is way different. Like the amount of cash flow that I now have available to purchase inventory or to hire employees through the new Black and through WOW as well. Like it only helps our businesses grow. Like cash flow is like one of the number one problems within it that's really difficult. And I feel like, or I had all that money basically on personal credit cards, but I had to prove to the SBA, like, this is a business expense. This is also a business expense. This is also a business expense. Like I couldn't get enough funding moving in the right direction in the beginning. So when I finally found somebody that was willing to sit down with me, and this was like 6 banks in to talk about this loan in 2019, I like finally found this person that like came into the business, saw what we were doing, saw how many people that were employed, saw how many people that were shopping. Like they got an understanding of like your numbers on paper don't look good because of the debt. So if we relieve the debt, obviously your numbers on paper are going to look even better. So she sat down with me, we got it all organized. And yeah, I definitely understand how you feel. Like it's like you were like being crashed over by all the waves and you're like trying to stay from drowning. And then all of a sudden you like see land and you're like able to walk up on the beach and actually breathe. And now I feel like I'm just laying on the beach, like soaking wet with like my arms out straight, like almost making sand angels like in the beach.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's fun. I haven't like walked past the beach yet, but I still feel so relieved just to have had even just somebody to believe in you enough to say like, oh, and have somebody to talk about it with and say like, this is not something that's talked about often. And it is so like taboo or it feels shameful because we're not talking about it. And I even talked to my mom and she was like telling me how she went through bankruptcy when she was younger and she had lost her apartment because she had lost her job. Like there was this whole thing. And I was like, Mom, like I never knew that. And I felt really, I don't know, a lot more like less pressure to talk to her about money once I understood that she had been through those kinds of hardships before. Like she lost her condo that she had bought and all this stuff, and she had lost her job, which her job was her source of income. So without the job, she could not afford to have her condo and her car and stuff like you're saying. So I feel like once you're able to connect with somebody on, it's okay to be vulnerable. Here's something vulnerable that I'm telling you about myself that maybe you haven't heard a lot of people say. And once you can hear that from someone else, which is kind of the entire point of this podcast in general, is just to have conversations around women and their wallets and understanding them, but also releasing a lot of the shame around it or the taboo-ness around it, or just releasing a lot of the stress. Like I want it to be a more neutral thing. I want money to be able to be spoken about, because by not speaking about it, we're only holding ourselves back. There's no slingshot moment that's going to happen by not talking about these things with other women and with other people. Like we're just holding ourselves back. Like that's what the patriarchy like wants. They want us to stay in the dark, They want us to stay in debt. And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. And managing money is a skill set that we all need to learn and need to understand. And it's not something that they're willing to teach us. So we have to go out of our way to find it. And sometimes you have to make those kind of big mistakes. And really, they're just lessons. And when you learn that lesson, the quote unquote hard way, it sticks. Like it doesn't, I don't feel the same way I did from some of the mistakes I made when I was starting my business 7 years ago. Like I don't feel the same way. I don't manage money the same way. We make a lot more money now. So it's like there's just so many more moving parts. And if we never talk about it, we will never have our slingshot moment. We will never have our arrow moment where we're moving forward. So thank you for just being open about it because it's so incredibly important to me. And I think to all of us as women.
Thanks, girl. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like once I actually like came out to my mom even and told her I had credit cards I was hiding from her, even though she worked at the bank. Because I definitely know my problem now. I have FOMO when I spend money, fear of missing out. So like, I am that girl. Like, if there's a sale, I'm gonna get it because it may be the last one. So learning my problems with that. And in the beginning of 2021, I made a goal is to not ever have that feeling of living paycheck to paycheck again. So talking about my best moment, it's now. Now I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm actually like a month of paycheck saved. So it's like what you said. Now we're like laying on the beach. I'm like, now I'm laying on the beach and I don't have to check my bank account to order a margarita. I can just be like, oh, can I get a margarita, please? Like,
I love that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. You know what? That's
like
where I'm at
we're
too.
drowning in the water, but now we don't have to check our bank accounts to order margaritas at the poolside bar. Like,
Oh my
so,
gosh.
yeah.
And next we're going to be like sitting on like under a cabana and we're going to have like a pool boy or whatever. Like,
no, next we're going to own the resort.
There you go.
Next, we're going to own this whole resort. We're going to own the White Lotus if you've watched that show yet.
Oh my God. That's so funny. I'm like, you're like, now we're at the point where we're ordering margaritas.
Yeah.
Next step, it's a slingshot moment. We own the resort. Like that's it. Have you watched, now I want to be, well, I always wanted to like have a wow Airbnb like experience. Oh, yeah. And I was like, oh, it'd be great for bachelorette parties, like just super girly and fun. Like every room can have a different theme. And I was watching last weekend on Netflix, they have the motel makeover. Have you seen that yet?
No. Oh, I want to watch that.
It's so cute because now I'm like, oh, actually, I don't think I want to have an Airbnb. I want to have the motel vibe because it's more about us all being together and stuff too. And like they have,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's in Canada. It's called the June and I'm obsessed with it. I want to go. And on the show, you'll see them like redecorate this motel, like their second motel that they bought. And I'm just like, every time I watch it, it looks like what the motel for WoW would look like. So I'm like, oh, this is like giving me such great inspiration. And like, it's so exciting. Yeah. I don't know. Now I'm just like, own the resort. Yes, bitch. Like I'm talking about like being a motelier at this point.
I love metaphors. We were out in the ocean talking to Wilson, screaming for Wilson out there in the waves. And now we're about to own this resort. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I feel.
I think in a nutshell, this entire podcast like today is all about that slingshot moment. And I'm obsessed with that because anytime you're having those what feel like setbacks or you're stepping backwards and you're kind of assessing what's going on, like it never really feels that great to address something that you know you're hiding. Like avoidance will never allow you to move forward. And I have 1,000% had avoided certain things financially because I was ashamed and worried about them and like hiding them from my husband or my parents. I'm just like, why is this a thing? Like no human naturally is born to be good at money. Things have to be through nurture, through education, and those setbacks don't always have to be setbacks. And then you have to take the steps to make sure that the setbacks are your slingshot moment, are your arrow forward. And I love that. I love that that's the entire theme of this now. Like, that's so cute.
Very cute. Yeah, it's like in beauty school. We didn't call them mistakes. They were learning opportunities. That's
Yeah, I usually call them, like, if I have a design like mess up or something, I'll be like, oh, it was a design choice. Like, it's just a choice. It doesn't have
Oh
to be a
yeah, I love
mistake.
that.
It was a choice
Yeah.
to make that decision, and you made the choice, and
Yeah.
it's fine. Like, some people love stuff and some people hate stuff, and we're in creative fields, and somebody out there is going to love that choice that you made
Yeah.
instead of that
Oh yeah.
mistake. I'll
Well,
have you phrase.
that's where ombres came from. Like somebody just grew out their roots, and then people are like, "Oh wow, that looks good."
And
Yeah,
now
that
I'm
was
like,
a design choice. But really, they just didn't get their hair touched up for months.
it's like, that's just where it came from. I love that because, like,
Yep.
that's what my hair
Yeah.
is now.
Yeah.
It's like, we just liked that design choice that that person made, whoever
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
I love this, Lindsay, and I just want to thank you for coming on and being vulnerable and open and communicating about finances and how you got started. You know, you're one of my favorite people, and we'll see about dyeing that hair pink sometime soon. I don't know. Maybe I'll just go for some wigs first. Feel it out.
Yeah, I told you I have a pink wig. I have a pink wig.
I need to get
I'll
you
give it to you.
your sparkly pink boots that you let me borrow and your sparkly pink jacket. Like,
Oh,
I need to
yeah.
get you those back. But also,
yeah.
I was like looking at their website to order my own now. So you're just a little influencer over there. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's Sisterhood of the Traveling Jacket. I'm just gonna let like anybody that needs a little women confidence, they can borrow this jacket
Oh my
and
gosh.
boots.
Yes. I mean, it made me feel like Dolly Parton for real. Like it.
Yeah.
And you had like sparkly shorts on with it too. I was like, ooh, like
Oh,
she went
yeah.
all the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went all the way. I wore a titty bra as a shirt.
Oh
What?
my God.
Like, it was a sequin black titty bra.
No
What?
way. I did
I had
not
confidence.
realize that underneath, like, on all your boomerangs from your
I
birthday.
did. Yeah, I kind of hid it. I wasn't that confident, but yeah, I
The
wore a
jacket
titty
helped.
bra in public.
You're
Yeah, it helped. It helped. I didn't wear the full bra. I had a jacket over it.
Yeah, you went karaokeing and like sang Dolly Parton while you were wearing all your things. That's your best life for sure.
Yeah, like we said, that slingshot shot me into something great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that birthday weekend. I should say we were talking about my birthday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I had a self-care stay at the Omni in Louisville. I stayed by myself, and then I went out karaoke. And yeah,
That's amazing.
I had a little self-care weekend.
Yeah,
it was awesome. And yeah, I was able to do that because I saved my money.
Mm-hmm. For bigger, better things. Yeah. There you go.
For bigger, better things. Yeah.
Well, tell everybody how they can follow you, and if they're in Louisville, how can they get their hair done by you? Just give us a little lowdown of all the places we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at The Hungry Hairdresser, and then a little tiny bit on TikTok. I'm doing one every now and again. And then you can find me at the salon at Aero Salon on Hearst Farm Parkway by the Shoe Carnival. But you can just text me on Instagram if you'd like to make an appointment.
Yay! Yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys, you definitely need to go see her, see the salon, follow her. I mean, I'm trying to find a way to even retire her from the salon when I get really, really famous. And she's just my hairdresser like every day. I was like, how much do we need to pay you? Let's figure this out. So get her while you can. Get in to make those appointments. And yeah, just thank you so much, Lindsay. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
If you want to put more money in the wallets of women like we do, then check out our website, thewomanownedwallet.com. And we can't wait to continue the conversation on our social media. So definitely follow us on our Instagram, womanowned.wallet, and TikTok, womanownedwallet. You can also support us and be entered for some amazing giveaway opportunities by following us on Apple and Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thank you for listening to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast.